As we age, the small warning signs often arrive quietly. A slower climb up the stairs, blood pressure that edges higher each year, or mornings when energy fades too quickly. Many seniors assume these changes are inevitable, but science tells us food can shape this journey more than we realize. Today, we turn our attention to something humble yet powerful, the black bean. Too often dismissed as ordinary, it may hold keys to protecting the heart, steadying blood sugar, and supporting bones and joints. And as always, I'm joined by my mentor in wisdom and health, Dr. G. Hinohara. At over 80 years old, he has dedicated his life to traditional Japanese medicine and to helping seniors find strength in daily choices. Dr. Hinohara, welcome back.
Thank you, Dr. John. In Japan, we say, Nanakarobi yaoki, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. Longevity is not about avoiding hardship, but finding the quiet supports that help us rise again. Often it is the simplest foods, like beans simmered in a pot, that give us this strength.
Dr. Hinohara, in the West, beans are often thought of as simple fillers, something inexpensive to bulk up a meal. But from what I've been reading, they may offer seniors very real protection against heart disease and diabetes. Why are black beans in particular so important as we age?
You are right, John. To many, beans look small and ordinary. But in traditional Japanese medicine, we see them as seeds of resilience. Black beans especially carry deep colour, a sign of anthocyanins, natural pigments that protect the body's vessels and tissues. Think of blood vessels as riverbanks. With age, the current grows rougher, wearing away at the edges. The anthocyanins in black beans act like stones that strengthen the banks, preventing erosion. At the same time, their soluble fibre binds excess cholesterol, carrying it out of the body like a gentle broom.
That image of a broom makes sense. Western studies back this up. Soluble fiber in legumes can lower LDL cholesterol and reduce arterial stiffness. But I also hear concerns from patients. They worry beans are heavy in carbohydrates. Doesn't that pose a risk for blood sugar?
It depends on the kind of carbohydrate. The starch in black beans is bound tightly with fibre and resistant starch. It releases energy slowly, like a candle that burns through the night, instead of a match that flares and dies in seconds. For seniors, this steadiness helps avoid the sharp peaks and valleys that lead to fatigue or dizziness after meals.
That matches what we see in clinical trials. Legumes can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by nearly 1/3 in people with type 2 diabetes. So what you describe as the candle flame has real metabolic support.
Yes, and when energy is steady, the mind feels clearer, mood becomes calmer, and sleep often improves. We must remember, food is not only fuel for the body, but also balance for the spirit.
Whenever I recommend beans to patients, I notice a few common mistakes. The first is skipping preparation. Many people open a can, heat them quickly, and eat them without soaking or rinsing. That often leads to bloating or discomfort, which makes seniors give up on beans altogether.
That is very true. In Japan we say, isogaba moe, when in haste, go slowly. Beans are like this. If we rush them, the body resists. Soaking overnight removes compounds that disturb digestion, and slow cooking makes their minerals easier to absorb. Patience turns them from burden into medicine.
The second mistake I see is portion size. Some seniors hear beans are healthy and then eat a whole bowl at once, thinking more is better. That often leads to gas, discomfort, or even diarrhea.
Yes, moderation is key. For an older stomach, just 2 or 3 tablespoons can be enough. The goal is not volume, but consistency. A small amount each day becomes a rhythm the body can trust.
And the last mistake, I hear patients dismiss beans as poor man's food. They underestimate their value, reaching instead for processed snacks or expensive supplements.
That is a mistake of perception. In my village, the families who lived longest were not those who could afford delicacies, but those who kept beans simmering quietly on the stove. Longevity is not built from extravagance, but from steady, nourishing choices.
So if rushing, overeating, or underestimating beans are common mistakes, what do you recommend instead? How should seniors approach black beans in a way that supports their health without causing discomfort?
In Japanese tradition, we see beans not as filler, but as quiet medicine. The preparation is as important as the food itself. Black beans should be rinsed, soaked overnight, and then simmered slowly, often with a pinch of salt or a strip of kombu seaweed. This softens them, both for digestion and for taste. Imagine a small bowl of black beans, their skin glistening like polished stones after rain. They carry a subtle sweetness, earthy but gentle, that warms the stomach when eaten warm. We often roast them lightly before simmering. This deepens the flavour and reduces bitterness.
That sounds almost ritualistic. In the West, we usually think of cooking as efficiency, but here you're describing it almost as care for the body before the food even enters it.
Yes, John. We say, kokoro wo ireru, to put your heart into what you prepare. By eating beans warm, never straight from the refrigerator, we protect the stomach's fire. Just a few spoonfuls with rice or vegetables can steady blood sugar, support the heart, and gently ease digestion.
So the solution isn't about eating a large portion, but about eating them in the right way, prepared slowly and served warmly.
Exactly. When taken this way, black beans become a steady companion for aging, not a burden. They harmonise with the body's rhythm, offering strength without heaviness.
What I find remarkable, Dr. Hinohara, is how much modern science echoes what you've described. For example, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition published findings showing that soluble fiber from beans lowers LDL cholesterol, the very fraction that clogs arteries. It works, like you said, almost like a broom sweeping away buildup.
Yes, science is confirming what farmers and healers observed centuries ago. The broom in the gut, the gentle release of energy. These were once metaphors. Now you measure them in numbers.
Exactly. And when it comes to blood sugar, studies show that black beans can reduce the rise in glucose after a meal by up to 30% in people with type 2 diabetes. That's almost the same benefit we see with certain medications, only without the side effects.
This is the strength of slow food. The resistant starch inside the bean behaves like a locked door. Glucose must knock slowly to enter the blood. That delay gives the body time to respond.
And it goes beyond blood sugar. In Japan, researchers found that anthocyanins in black beans may improve how cells respond to insulin, which could protect seniors from progressing from prediabetes to diabetes.
That is the beauty of colour in food. Black, purple, red. These pigments are not decoration. They are nature's medicine, given freely if we are willing to eat them daily.
So whether we look at it through blood work or through Proverbs, the story aligns. Black beans are far from ordinary. They are protective.
Yes, John, old wisdom and new science are not rivals. They are two lanterns lighting the same path. John, your words remind me of a woman I treated many years ago. She was in her 70s, living alone in the countryside. Her greatest fear was losing her independence because her blood sugar was rising year after year. Each doctor's visit left her more anxious. When she first came to me, she carried a bag of sweets in her pocket. She told me, "Sensei, if I do not eat these, I feel faint." What she was experiencing were the spikes and crashes of unstable glucose. I asked her to begin a simple practice. Soak black beans overnight, then simmer them slowly until soft. Each morning she ate just a small handful with her rice. Nothing dramatic, just consistency. Months later she returned, walking with more energy. She said, "The candies stay at home now. I do not need them." Her blood sugar had steadied. She was sleeping through the night, her mind calmer, her steps lighter.
That's incredible. In Western medicine, we often adjust medications when blood sugar swings like that. To hear that such a small, steady change gave her back stability.
Yes, what she gained was not just better numbers, but freedom from fear. She no longer lived at the mercy of her cravings or her exhaustion. That freedom is the true medicine.
For our listeners at home, let's make this practical. If you want to bring black beans into your daily life safely, Here's a simple plan. Prepare them properly. Soak the beans overnight, then cook them slowly until soft. This makes them easier to digest and more nourishing. Start small. Just 2 to 3 tablespoons with a meal is enough. Think of it as a daily rhythm, not a large serving. Pair wisely and combine beans with vegetables, rice, or greens. This improves mineral absorption and balances the meal.
Yes, and let me add 2 small refinements. First, eat them warm. Cold beans from the refrigerator can disturb digestion, but warmth supports the stomach's inner fire. Second, listen to your body. If you feel lightness and steadiness, continue. If you feel discomfort, reduce the portion or prepare them with more care.
And for those with kidney disease or taking certain medications, check with your doctor first. Black beans are rich in potassium and fiber, which are wonderful for most seniors but may need adjustment in special cases.
That is wisdom, John. Even the best food must fit the person. The goal is not just to eat beans, but to eat them in harmony with your own condition.
Dr. Hinohara, thank you for guiding us today. What we've learned is simple yet powerful. Black beans aren't just food, they're a daily ally for the heart, for blood sugar, for bones, and even for peace of mind. For seniors, these small choices can add up to years of strength and independence.
Thank you, John. In Japan, we say, "Chisai koto ga uki na chigai o umu." Small things create great differences. A few spoonfuls of beans each day may seem small, but over time, they change the rhythm of aging.
That's beautiful. To our listeners, I encourage you. Try this at home. Start with a small serving of well-prepared black beans. Notice how your energy, digestion, or sleep may feel steadier. Share your experience with us after a week.
Yes, health is not found in sudden miracles, but in daily harmony. Let the humble bean remind you, longevity is built spoon by spoon, day by day.
Thank you, Dr. Hinohara, and thank you to everyone who joined us on today's episode of the Senior Health Podcast. Until next time, stay well, stay curious, and take care of your daily rhythm.